Okay, folks, today I will talk about what software we need to install for Ruby Cucumber Selenium test automation. Um, so I have the document here, which I have shared on the Google Drive. Hopefully you all have the same document. In this document, which talks about various software that you will need to download. So you need to go open this document and download, go to the links for step number 1. So you could click on the link here or copy the link and put it in a browser. And then once you get to the link, you need to download this specific version for Ruby installation. So this is required for the Ruby programming. And this is the core of the Ruby Cucumber test automation. So follow the instructions step by step. Follow this software download step by step. Download each and every software that you need that is mentioned here. And once you download all 5 different types of items, what we will do is we'll do the installation one by one. So we'll install the Ruby development kit first. Then we'll install the RubyMine IDE, and then we'll configure the web drivers for the automation. So let me close this document, and I'm going to the directory here where I have placed all different software here. So I have Ruby installer, DevKit 276 version, RubyMine, which I downloaded from the Ruby JetBrains website. Then I have 3 different web drivers. First one is for the Chrome, second one is for the Edge, and third one is for Firefox web driver. So let's go ahead and install Ruby DevKit first. So all you have to do is simply double click it. And if you are on Windows 11, it will prompt you for this window. Click on install anyway. Accept the license agreement, click next. Here, by default, there is a directory, but what I like you guys to do is edit that path and put C Ruby directory in the middle. So your path should look like this. This is where in this directory or in this folder structure, this particular software or Ruby DevKit will be installed. Everything else, make sure you leave it checked, no other change on the screen. And then you simply click on install at this point. So I'm going to click on install. And make sure you don't have to check anything here. Everything is checked, which is good. And it says current selection required at least almost 1 gigabyte of disk space. So make sure you have enough disk space. You will need at least for overall installation, you will need at least 2 gigabyte of disk space. I'll click on next here, and it will start the install. It will take a few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video for a few seconds, and we'll come back to the installation. But let it run. It should be running. It might take 5 minutes. It might take 20 minutes, depending on your computer speed. So I'm going to pause the video now. Okay, so installation on my machine is about to be done. So let's see when it gets done. Might take another minute or so. But as I mentioned, this is the first step that you need to complete. You need to have the RubyMine, Ruby DevKit installed first, and then we will move on to the RubyMine IDE installation. Okay, so here, completing the RubyMine with MySys setup wizard. So setup has finished installing RubyMine, Ruby as MS cert with MySys on your computer. Application may be launched by selecting the install shortcut. Click on finish, exit to setup. Now it says run RIDK install to set up MySys and development toolchain. So make sure as soon as I click on finish, it will start MySys installation. Okay, so that's where it will happen. So I'm going to click on finish now. And it started this command line, and this is where it will install the MySys. So here there are a few options that are specified here. So you will need option number 1 and option number 2. You will not need MySys and Mingo development toolchain, but there is no harm installing. Now, how do you install? So here, the prompt, you can simply enter 1 and simply type 1 and click enter. It will install the first option. Then if you want to install the option number 2, you can simply do 2 and hit enter. Okay, so let me go ahead and do option 1 first, hit enter. And at this point, it will perform a bunch of commands and move forward with the installation. So at this point, you do not have to take any action. Let the command complete. Okay, so base installation is done. So I'm going to perform the installation system update number 2. So again, it's running a bunch of commands. Essentially what it's doing is it's downloading a bunch of files and performing some other installation. Again, this might take a minute or two. So we will let it run and complete the execution. So there are 110 items. Looks like it has to complete. It's about, you can see the progress here. Showing 30, 40, 50. So it is installing pretty fast. But again, your internet speed, your computer speed, and so forth, it might take a while on your machine. So it's almost there. Now it's checking. Once it's installed, it does some checks. That's what it's doing right now. So while it's performing the checks, let me go and open another document here, which I will need it to complete the other type of installation. Installation is still going through. Okay, keeps on moving. It is still going on. So let's be patient here. Should be done maybe in about 5 minutes, maybe earlier. It's almost there. All right. So at this point, as I said, we completed installation for MySys2, base installation as well as system update. Item number 3, we do not have to do it. And so we will just simply exit. Basically by closing the window at this point. And at this point, you are done with the Ruby dev kit installation. One way you can check what is installed, you can open the command prompt. So cmd and type Ruby version. So it will tell you what is your Ruby version 2.7.6, 412 reason, and this is the version that you have. And if you can see it, if I go back to the download, so 276, this is the version we installed. And at this point, we are good. Now, I did open, there are additional tools we need to install. So let's go and give it a shot. Now, these are additional libraries on top of Ruby that we will need. So at the command prompt that you have open, you can simply type in gem install Cucumber. And it will download the Cucumber libraries and it will install. This particular library is needed for the Cucumber framework and test automation. So these 5 different libraries we will install at this point, one by one, by using this gem install command. So gem install bundler, that's the second one. We will talk about what these things are as we move progress towards the class. But let's get the installation done at this point. Gem install RSpec. So when you do that, what's happening here in the background is it goes to this site and downloads that particular library. So if you really want to see it, I can go to this site, and here I can for Cucumber, and I can see it installed, downloaded, and installed this particular version 8 on our machine at this point. So it's downloading the libraries from this Ruby Gems. This is an open source website, and it has all different kinds of libraries which you can use in your test automation. But we are installing what we need for our purpose. So our spec is done. So let's do gem install water. So you can see it downloaded the WebDriver 461 for Selenium and so forth, because water is built on top of Selenium. So that's the reason. You will see some Selenium reference when you install water library. But anyway, let it complete. And we'll do the last one, gem install Selenium. Okay, so at this point, we are done with the necessary software. Now you can see what is really installed, right? So there are certain commands you can try. Gem list local. So it will tell you what gems you have it installed. And I can see it. There are a bunch of gems, but I can see Cucumber version 8. I have it. Let's see what is the version for Selenium. So Selenium is 461. What is the version for water? Water WebDriver is 7.1. So these are different versions and libraries. The RSpec, let's see what we install for RSpec is 3.12.0 and so forth. So that's what you can use some of these commands, and we'll talk about these commands as we progress through the camp. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to close this window as well because we are done. Now the next step would be install RubyMine IDE. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, if you're on Windows 11, you will have to click install anyway. And on my machine, I already have a RubyMine version. So at this point, let's see. It says uninstall old version. Okay. So I'm going to click on it, but you do not have any older version, so you do not have to click this. And so forth. Okay, so I'm going to check these two options. For if you already have a version, you need to check these two options. If you have it, you don't have to take any action on this window, and you click next. Okay, so this would be the installation path. You do not have to change anything. It says you will need 1.8 GB, space available 5.4. So I'm good on my machine. At this point, I will click next. And you can create a shortcut on your desktop so that you can easily start it. So I'll do that. Make sure you check this. Update path variable, add bin folder to the path. Make sure you check on this one, on this window. And update context menu. So all three options should be checked when you first open it or when you are installing it, and click next. And at this point, it will be installed under JetBrains folder. So we'll see that on start menu. So you see JetBrains, and then that's where you can start the RubyMine IDE. So at this point, we are done, and I'm going to click on install. Okay, again, it will take a few minutes. So I'm going to pause recording here, and oh, it might be faster. So let's see if it gets done in the next couple of minutes. Okay, so might take a few more minutes here, but we are almost there. So we will wait. Okay, almost there. Now this one requires a reboot. completing RubyMine setup and reboot. So I'm going to click on, I want to manually reboot later. At this point, I'm not going to reboot now because it will disconnect from the Zoom. So I'll reboot it later time. So I have this option selected and I'm going to click on finish. So at this point, we have installed the Ruby dev kit, which is needed for the Ruby programming and any automation test Ruby code. Then we have installed the RubyMine. So RubyMine is a development IDE. This is where we will be working. So it's a development tool, which we'll be utilizing. Now let's see, we have 3 additional items that we downloaded. See where we need to put those things. So if you notice, Ruby installer was installed under C, and I believe it goes under the Ruby directory and Ruby 2.7 x64. Now I have 2 different versions. You can install different SDKs or different dev kits side by side. This is the older one that I already had it, but this is the new one, SDK, which you probably have on your machine. This is the only folder that you will see under Ruby if you followed the path convention properly. So you will see it here, and if you open that up, this is where the Ruby dev kit is installed. And if you go to the bin folder, you will see some bunch of libraries that we installed, like Cucumber, Bundler, Gem libraries, and all those things. So this bin folder is important. And so what we need to do is we need to, so I'm going to leave this open and I'm going to open another file explorer. And I'll browse to my download directory where I have all the software downloaded. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to drop these 3 executables from this. So these are 3 zip files. What I can do is I can open one by one. So I'll double click this Chrome driver Win32. And it has this exe file or application. So I'll click on that and I'll say copy. And I'll come to the bin folder here and I'll say paste. Okay, so I have Chrome driver in the bin directory now. So I'll go back here, go up. Now I'll do the process for Edge. So I'll copy, select the driver, come here and paste it. Make sure, yep, MSDE, MS Edge driver, Microsoft Edge. Okay, so go back up, Gecko driver, Gecko, copy, come back, and let's do paste. I have Gecko driver. So at this point, I have installed all the necessary software and my computer is ready for test automation or for writing my first test automation. So at this point, all the necessary software configuration has been done on your machine and you have development environment ready. So I'm going to stop at this point and we'll come back in a different video for the exercise and so forth.